time we walk into a synagogue, we take a moment to acknowledge the sacred space that we try to create together. Boker Tov, everyone. And I invite you, as we start Shacharit Shel Shabbat, our morning service, to take a moment to acknowledge the space surrounding us, our home, our community, as we acknowledge the presence of those that are surrounding us and create together this sacred community. Matovu Alecha Yaakov, we are on page 192. And after acknowledging the space that we create together, we take a moment to acknowledge and to think about our personal space, about our bodies. I invite you to turn your Sidurim to page 194 and to daven quietly the blessing for the well-functioning of our bodies. ברוך אתה אדוני רופא כל בשר ומפליא לעשות. And as we try to connect our physical existence and our spiritual one, we take a moment to sit comfortably and to take a deep breath. Our neshima, our breath, is the access to our neshama, our soul. Once again, I invite you to take a deep breath. We're on page 196 for the blessing for our souls.
Shalom.
תביא טהוריים, אלוהי נשמה שנתת בי, טהורה, טהוריים. Source of all creation, sovereign of all souls, praise are you, Adonai, in whose hand is every living soul and the breath of humankind. ברוך אתה, אדוני, אשר בידו נפש כל חי, ורוח כל בשר איש. We turn our Sidurim to page 198. As we try to think about those little things that make our routines possible. You know, each of us has something that helps him or her to start the morning. I always say that in my case is a nice cup of coffee. And if when it doesn't work, it feels so wrong. The entire day feels so wrong. So, for those little things that make our routines possible, we try to express our gratitude, and also for the big things that make us who we are. On page 198, let's dive in together the blessings for the daily miracles.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who has given the mind the ability to distinguish day from night.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who opens the eyes of the blind.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who frees the captive.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who lifts up the fallen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who stretches the earth over the water.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who strengthens our steps. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish adumim. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, הנותן ליעף כוח. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, המביא שינה מניות נומה מעפעפי. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שעשני בצלם אלוהים. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שעשני בת חורים. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שעשני ישראל. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, עוזר ישראל בגבורה. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, עוטר ישראל בתפארה. On page 204, please join me in the blessing for the daily study of Torah. Baruch ata Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, וציוונו לעסוק בדברי תורה. O Adonai, our God, let the words of Torah be sweet in our mouths, and the mouths of your people Israel, so that we, our descendants, and the descendants of all your people Israel may know you, by studying your Torah for its own sake. Blessed are you, Adonai, who teaches Torah to your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, המלמד תורה לעמו Israel. Between pages 206 and 207, and on page also on page 211, you can find short pieces for Torah study. I invite you to take a silent moment for personal Torah study. On page 212, the blessing for the Psukei, the Simbra, in which we undertake the challenge of uplifting our souls. Baruch Shemar Vaya Haolam, Baruch Hoseh Bereshit, Baruch Omer Beoseh, Baruch Oser Umekayem, Baruch Merachem Al Haaretz, Baruch Merachem על הבריות, ברוך משלם שכר טוב לרעיו, ברוך האלוהת וקיים לנצח, ברוך פודה ומציל, ברוך שמו. With songs of praise we extol you and proclaim your sovereignty, for you are the source of life in the universe. One God, life of the universe, praise and glorious ruler, your name is eternal. Blessed are you, Adonai, sovereign, who is glorified through praise. Baruch atah Adonai, melech meulal, batish bachot. And we start the Psukei de Simbra in Shabbat, granting Shabbat, a wonderful song. We're on page 214 for Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, איי ליי 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 ליי, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, Shir Yom HaShabbat,
Happy are those who dwell in your house. Ashrei yoshbei beitecha od ya'alelu chasela. We are at the top of page 215. Between pages 215 and 216, we invite you to continue with the traditional reading of Ashrei, or alternatively, to take a moment to think about what are the things that bring joy to your life. We are at the bottom of page 216. Page 218. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, tziltzilei teshuvah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, tziltzilei teshuvah, kol הנשמה והללויה, הללויה, כל הנשמה והללויה, הללויה, כל הנשמה והללויה, הללויה. Even if our mouths were full of song as the sea and our tongues full of joy in countless waves, we could never find the way and the words to thank you adequately, to thank you enough, Adonai. We're on page 220 for Ilufino.
Ilufinu male shira kayam Urshoneinu rina kahamon galam Vesiftotenu shevach kemechavei rakia Vehenenu mehirot kashemesh v'chayareach Ve'adeinu plusot kenishei
shamayim ורגלינו קלות כייות. אין אנחנו מספיקים להודות לך, אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו. אין אנחנו מספיקים להודות לך, אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אמותינו. On page 222, the lesson that concludes the Psukei de Simra. שוכנת מרום וקדוש שמו, וכתוב לנו צדיקים באדוני, לישרים נאווה תהילה, בפי ישרים תתהלל, ובדברי צדיקים תתברך, ובלשון חסידים תתרומם, ובקרב קדושים תתקדש, ובמקלות רבבות עמך בית ישראל, ורינה יתבר שמך מלכנו, בכל דור ודור, השתבח שמך לעד מלכנו, האל המלך הגדול והקדוש בשמיים ובארץ, כי לך נאה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, שירו שמחת הלל ושמרה, עוש וממשלה, נצח גדולה וגבורה, תהילה ותפארת קדושה ומלכות, ברכות והודאות מעתה ועד עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני, אל מלך גדול בתשבחות, אל ההודאות אדון הנפלאות, הבוחר בשירי שמרה, מלך ערכי העולמים. On page 224.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעמבה דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון וחייתך בית ישראל, בגדה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה
שלומם מתנשא,
בהתהלל, 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 שמי קודשיו,
ברכו.
לילה מן כל בחרתה בשירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירה בעלמה, ואמרו
Amen. We turn our Siduri to page 226. If you are able to rise as we ask for the gates of prayer to be open before us. Let's read together in English on page 228. Praised are you, Adonai, our God, Father of the universe, Creator of light and darkness, who makes peace and fashions all things. In mercy you illuminate the world and those who live upon it. In your goodness you daily renew creation. How numerous are your works, Adonai. In wisdom you formed them all, filling the earth with your creatures. Be praised, Adonai, our God, for the excellent work of your hands, and for the lights you created, may they glorify you. Shine a new light upon Zion, that we all may swiftly merit its radiance. Praised are you, Adonai, creator of all heavenly lights. Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer HaMeorot. On page 230, Abba Rabba. If you are wearing a talit, I invite you to the four corners of your talit together as a symbol of our intention, our attempt to gather our internal diversity. As we ask, gather us in peace from the four corners of the earth and lead us upright to our land. For you, O God, work wonders. You chose us. Truly, you drew us near to your great name that we might acknowledge you, declaring you one in love. Praise be you, Adonai, who chooses your people Israel in love. Baruch ata Adonai, abocher be'amo Israel be'ahava. Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Come on, Carter. We need you. You can follow the reading of the Shema on page 234.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושמרתם לבבך ודיברת בם, ושמרתם ביתך ובתך בדרך, ובשעותיך ובקומך, ושרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו תטובות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך. למען
Wait. Don't worry. You'll get it until the 23rd. Now, in the middle of page 236, we continue in English.
Adonai said to Moses as follows: Speak to the Israelite people and instruct them to make for themselves fingers on the corners of their garments through the ages.
Looks familiar?
Yeah. Let them attach a cord of blue to the fringe at each corner. That shall be your fringe. Look at it and recall all the commandments of Adonai, and observe them, so that you do not follow your heart and your eyes in the lustful urge.
Now, yes. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתיכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת, אמת ויציב ואהוב וחביב. נורא, באדיר בטוב ביפה, הדבר הזה עלינו ללעם בהד. We continue with the silent reading over page 238. The waters of the Red Sea are the representation of any obstacle that you are dealing with in your life, a representation of any challenge that we need to overcome in order to achieve our personal redemption. And we learn from our tradition that what is needed in order to overcome obstacles is to be an action, to make the first step. Rabbi Aaron Shosha Heschel says that in Jewish tradition more than a leap of faith. We need a leap of action. So as we walk toward the waters of the uncertainty in our lives, we also walk with the hope that there is a promised land on the other side. Return our Siurim to page 240.
שמחת הים, יחד כולם הודו והמליכו שיבחו גאונים, אוי לשמחת הים, יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו. אדוני ימלוך לעולם בהד, צור ישראל קומה בעזרת ישראל. Rock of Israel, rise in support of Israel and redeem Judah and Israel as you promise. Our Redeemer Adonai Tzebaot is your name. Blessed are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Baruch Ata Adonai, Gaal Israel. Please rise for Tfilat Amidah. We are on page 242.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, El HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Kameh Chasadim Tovim, V'konei hakol, V'zocher chasdei avot imahot, U'mevii geula lifnei bneihem, Leman shemo be'ahava, Melech ozer u'mashiach u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham,
בעזרת שרה.
אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחייב
מתים אתה, רב להושיע.
משיב הרוח ומרעיד הגשם, מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי יעקב ברחמים רבים, צומח נופים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות. ברוך אתה אדוני בחיי המתים. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד רביעך, וקרא זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך על הארץ, כבודו. אדיר, אדירנו אדוני, אדוננו אדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו ומלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ורחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור
נגיד גודלך. לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור נגיד גודלך. ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך, קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם, לעולם ועד.
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך. לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור נגיד גודלך. ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך, קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם, לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. יזמחו ברכותיך שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג מקדש השביעים, כולם ישמעו ונדרגו בטובך ושרירו שרצית וקדש לכם נד ימים אותו קראת שכל למעשה בראשית ראינו ולא אבותינו ואמותינו רוצה מנוחה. מודים על החולה שאתה עונה אלינו ולאבותינו ואמותינו.
As we conclude Filat Amidah, as we conclude our very personal prayer, we ask for the ability to create shalom, to face each other again and to understand and celebrate our differences, to recognize the dignity of the difference. We are at the bottom of page 260 for Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom bimrama, Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom
bimroma, Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen.
Yaseh shalom,
Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
We turn our Siurim now, yes, to page 362 in order to start our Torah service. Please rise as we open the Ark.
Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai ben kemasecha.
Take the Torah out in Kimitzah.
Malchutecha malchut kol olamim u'memshaltecha
bechol dor v'ador. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai os le'amo yiten, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Ki b'Tzion בשמיים ובארץ. Shabbos. Whatever Rabbi, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Right?
And keep your...
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Don't hit any wrong with that.
Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah, you will do it.
Shabbat Shalom.
Not really today. La 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 la.
Shalom.
Yeah, Barbara, Shabbat la 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 la.
Start your YouTube.
Oh, that's nice.
La 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 la. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome. Bienvenida. La 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 la. An A.
In A.
A.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Major. La 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 la. 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 Yam 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 la 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 la. La 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 la. Yam la 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 la. Yam la 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 la. La 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 la. Yam la 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 la. La 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 la. Shalom, 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 Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
So we are going to do something that is not our custom. We are going to do something very different in this Shabbat. I will speak very shortly. And the reason is because of you. So I have the privilege that my rabbi, Rabbi Stanley Davids, is visiting us, and he will be teaching a class. He's not alone. He's not alone. He's accompanied by his wife, Risa. It's a privilege to have her here. And Risa, you are the president of the sisterhood in University Synagogue in Los Angeles.
Yes, and I am the corresponding secretary of this district.
Look at that. I even didn't know that. You are very busy, and that's good because they are both retired, so they don't do much in these days, right? They have a very easy life, no commitments, no books, nothing. So there are people that retire to work double. You know, they are better for their jobs, and then they retire and they work more. So it is a real privilege to have you again with us, and to have the zchut, the honor of your visits almost yearly. So yeah, every year we have like a once a year visit. So that's fantastic. And also Rabbi Art. Where's Rabbi Art? He left.
He's right there.
Where are you, Rabbi? Rabbi Art Levine will be sharing from Pirkei Avot. So I won't share many words of Torah, but just some words. Sure, Barbara. Just one thing. I can't let it pass without saying anything. Yesterday we spoke about this idea that the tabernacle, the Mishkan, is like a holy box. And that the Holy of the Holies is a very, very holy box. But there are boxes, there are containers that we create in order to sustain, in order to contain sacred things for us. The ark carries our holy Torah. And the containers that we create in our lives, they are containers of holy things for us, of sacred things for us. And we spoke about customs and traditions that our families have, that they are also containers of the most important values that we have for our families. So, and we spoke also about this idea that sometimes these containers need to change. As our families grow and our lives change, we need to modify the containers. We need to think a lot about how to adjust, how to adapt. And in that context, there is one sentence in this Torah portion that is particularly
meaningful. And you know that it's particularly meaningful to me because we sing it quite a bit, which is Ve'asu li mikdash ve'shachanti betocham, which means and you translate that as tabernacle, and I will translate that as sanctuary, from the word mikdash, milekadesh, to dedicate. And you will build for me a sanctuary, a home, a holy container, and I will dwell, and I will be within you, and I will dwell, I will be with you. This idea that the action of building is actually what brings our values close to us. It's not so much the container, it's not so much the Holy Ark, but the study of Torah. It's not so much if you do a family dinner or Shabbat, or I don't know, Shema next to your children's bed, but it's the fact that you decide that you will have a relationship and you will be doing constantly things in order to be close to them. So as we think about the dynamics of Kedusha, the dynamics of keeping sacred things close to us, this week in Parashat Truma, we think about our contributions. We think about the thing that we need to put, we need to invest in order to keep building these structures that help us keep the things that are dear to us close to our lives and to our hearts. Let's start reading Torah. Gabi, you are the first Balat Kriya.
Is me.
And you are calling, Mark, right? You are calling, Gabi, you are reading.
Yes.
So you have it that. And I put your Kidikun Korin right here.
Yam tu harav shmara ben Chaim v'tzipora v'risa bat Mordechai v'Miriam. Get these in place. Uharav Aharon ben Mordechai Halevi v'Tova v'Bracha bat Tzvi HaKohen Menucha, Rabbi Stanley and Risa David, and Rabbi Art and Barbara Levine.
Come, don't be so
Page-
afraid. You take control of this Torah.
Page 604. Yeah.
You need an open.
To roll. It's a good roll.
60. Did you get that? 604? Right.
משה לאמור לבני ישראל, ויקחו לי תרומה.
I'm working.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים, ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל, ויקחו לי תרומה מאת כל איש אשר ידבנו ליבו. There, I went ahead of myself. תיקחו את תרומתי, וזאת התרומה אשר תיקחו מאיתם, זהב וכסף ונחושת, ותכלת וארגמן, ותולעת שני ושש ועזים, ואורות אלים מאדמים, ואורות תחשים בצא שיטים.
We went longer for the sake of Torah study.
No, that was the portion. I looked it up.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נתן בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen.
Yam tu Moshe Yermach Yerachmiel ben Avraham, Yehuda ben Shmuel, Mitchell Goldberg, Fred Jacobson, and Daphne Guterman will be chanting Torah. We're still on 604.
She stole one line.
That's fine. No worry. Just do what they're going to do.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Amvarach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol hamim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. ואורות אלים מאדמים, ואורות חשים ועצי שיטים, שמן למאור, ושמים לשמן המשחה, ולכתורת הסמים, אבני שוהם, ואבני מילואים, לאפוד ולחושן.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Yom Tov, Balia bat David, Chana bat Meir v'Sara, Barbara Rosen, Ann Nannis, and Nitza Hennig, chanting Torah. We're at the bottom of the first column on page 604.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
ועשו לי מקדש ושכנתי בתוכם ככל אשר אני מראה אותך את תבנית המשכן ואת תבנית כל כליו וכן תעשו ועשו ארון עצי שיטים 2.5 אורכו ו1.5 רוחבו ו1.5 קומתו.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
Yom Tov, Shmerel ben David v'Dora, Baruch, Lev ben Eli Ufreda, John Holman, Bruce Meltzer, and Mark Lewis chanting the mantra.
Okay, so oh, here. Okay.
What is that?
Yeah, okay, it's right there.
Where are you?
Can't get black gold in there.
Okay.
Maybe we could have a rock done instead.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarach. Baruch Adonai. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
Amen. Kol amudei chachotzer savim mechukashatim kesef v'avechem kesef adeichem nechoshet orech chachotzer mea v'yama v'rochav chamishim v'chamishim v'koma chamesh amud shesh masar Anonoichem Nechoshet Lechol Kilech Amishkan V'chol Avodato V'chol Yedeitotov Uv'chol Yidot Hechatzer Nechoshet.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
So a blessing for all those who were called for an aliyah. Mishaberach Avotenu Abraham Yitzhak Yaakov Sarah Rivcha Rachel Huleah Hu Yivarech Et Kol HaPoim Asher Alu Hayom Likvod HaMakom Likvod HaTorah Likvod HaShabbat HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yivarech Otam Ve'et Mishpechotam V'shlach Bracha V'chatzlacha V'chol Ma'aseh Yedehem Im Kol Yisrael Eichem V'nomar Amen. May the one who bless our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless all those who have come for an aliyah with reverence for God and respect for the Torah and Shabbat. May the Holy One bless them and their families and prosper all their deeds together with all our fellow Jews everywhere. And let us say,
Amen.
Amen. Now prayer for healing. When I pause, you know the drill. Okay. Mishaberach Avotenu V'imotenu Avraham Yitzhak V'Yaakov Sarah Rivcha Rachel Leah Hu Yivarech Et Bob Glick. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimalei Rachamim Alehem V'lahalimam U'larapotam U'lahazikam V'lishlach Lachem Mechera Refuah Shlema Min HaShamayim Refuat HaNefesh Refuat HaGuf Hashtaba Galau V'zman Kariv V'nomar Amen. May the one who bless our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal all those whose names were mentioned, together with all others who are in need of spiritual or body healing. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit. Let us say, Amen.
If you're able, please rise for Agba Angle Lila. Besot HaTorah Asher Sam Moshe Lifnei Bnei Yisrael Al Pi Adonai Leyad Moshe שלושה דברים העולם עומד על שלושה דברים על שלושה דברים על שלושה דברים העולם עומד על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הגמילות חסדים, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הגמילות חסדים. You may be seated. You got the copies? They were here.
They're being passed out.
They're being passed out. So for those that are unfamiliar, we are in a triennial reading of the Haftarah, which basically means that we read Haftarah every 3 years. And we chose to start an alternation of Jewish books, important books that we want to explore, and they have to do with the ethical tradition of the Jewish people. And we are reading now Pirkei Avot. We are in chapter 2, verses 12 and 13. And Rabbi Art is going to lead us in some study and discussion.
With your help, I hope.
I promise to rectify whatever you say.
Thank you. Okay, does everybody have a copy? Who wants a copy? Okay, great. So we're starting with verse 17. Rabbi Yosef Omer, Yehi mamon chevercha chaviv alecha keshelach. So Rabbi Yossi says, let your fellow's money be as dear to you as your own. Do we all, anybody want to comment on that? Seems pretty straightforward, but why would that be? Why should the other person's money, and when would I have the opportunity for my fellow's money to be as dear as mine? Okay. Nita? Okay, I don't know if anybody, we don't have a wandering mic, so if you could speed up a little bit, speak up. So respect other people's money, don't use it as if it was just your own. I think it should be more possessions too, not just money. You know, somebody gives you something that you entrust, or just be respectful of other people's property. I don't think it's just a matter of when they give it to you and you're the bailee or the trustee or something. You know, people work hard for what they have, and we need to be respectful of that. And one way to do that is to act as if it'd be no less careful than as if it was our own.
What happened, Rabbi, when you are in a business trip and you are going in your company's budget? You say, well, who cares? You know, it's my company's budget. Like, you know, is the synagogue paying for my convention? I think that's, I have a microphone. I think that's one of the cases in which you actually need to take, you need to be very careful of mamon chavercha, of the money that doesn't belong to you, and act like it would be yours.
Mm-hmm. Now, I think we could also say that actually, maybe this is just the lawyer coming out of me, but I don't think there's a higher burden necessarily to protect somebody else's things than your own. You know, the question is, are you being reasonable? And one standard is it's the care that you would take with your own. You don't have to go to great extremes to protect somebody else more than you would protect your own, but you have to at least the same amount. Okay, continuing on. V'chatken atzmecha lilmod Torah. Apply yourself to Torah study. Do we need to talk about that? That's the central, the central thing that we are supposed to be doing all our lives, with at least part of every day, and that's what we're doing right now, and not just small T Torah, you might say, but big T Torah, or the way that all of Jewish learning. Okay. She'ena Yerusha Lach. It is not your inheritance. What, I thought it is our inheritance. I thought we've always learned that Torah is our inheritance. So what could this mean? Mitch?
If you don't study it, you don't know it. So you can't inherit what you don't know.
Okay. Everybody agree with that? Susan?
The idea maybe that you need to work for it, not just. The idea may be that you need to work for it, that don't just assume it's going to land in your lap.
Okay.
Exert effort.
Okay.
We sing that every time we return the Torah to the ark. We say, "It is a tree of life for
those who hold fast to it."
So you got to hold. You can't use the right of the previous generation and say, "Well, my grandfather used to study Torah. My grandmother used to study Torah." You got to study Torah if you want to have a real connectionship and you want to receive that Torah. That's also right for B'nai Mitzvah, Carter.
Okay, go ahead.
You need to practice it. You need to practice it. Practice what you learned. Do it. Use it.
Okay.
You can't teach what you don't know. It's not going to magically descend upon your children as like an inheritance would.
Okay, very good. Okay, one more, Steve.
Yeah, I was just thinking, because our culture's changed, you can't just take what was done by previous generations, because as we study Torah today and interpret it today in today's environment as opposed to last week's environment, last year's environment, we may see things differently. So you really have
Oh.
It doesn't come to you. You have to do it yourself.
Okay, thanks. We'll see that in a verse in a moment also. Okay. B'kol ma'asecha yichiyu l'shem shemayim. All your actions, everything you do, should be for the sake of heaven. Is that how we operate?
Of course.
What does that mean? Okay, yes, please.
I think it's kind of saying like our actions should be correct and not make bad decisions. Not exactly of having perfect decisions because no one's perfect, but having good decisions.
Okay, great.
Sometimes we think that because we are Jews, we don't have to study anything, but it's wrong. See, many people think that they because they are Jew, they are not to study Torah. We have to study Torah all our days of our life. There's many Jews where they don't practice anything, and that's not good. We have to study Torah every day. In the morning, when you wake up, when you dress yourself, when you take a shower, when you sit and eat, and when you go sleep. That's what I think.
And we should do it for the sake of heaven. Okay, continuing on, thank you. So continuing on, Rabbi Shimon Omer, Heve Chazir, Bikriyat Shema Utfilata, Uvitfila. Okay, if I read the whole thing in Hebrew, it's going to take a long time. So, Rabbi Shimon says, and this is one translation, be meticulous in reading Shema and in prayer. When you pray, do not make your prayer a set routine. Well, that's odd, because don't we say the same thing every Shabbat? So what are we talking about here? Don't make your prayer a set routine. That's why we have a prayer book, yes? Mitch?
Well, you're supposed to pray with feeling and with emotion, and if all you're doing is reciting the words, they no longer have meaning, they don't inspire you. And particularly the Shema, the acknowledgement of the oneness of God. If you make that prayer as just, well, I got to do it, I do it 3 times a day, and you're done with it, then you're not really saying the Shema, because you're not acknowledging, you're not getting into your kavanah as to what it really means, which I guess from the context of what we do, this is why we hold the talit, and we cover our eyes when we say the Shema, to try and get that moment where we're trying to find connection. If we make it just a day-to-day thing and we don't, and we have it fixed, then it loses its meaning. It's special. It's supposed to be sincere.
Right. God knows the words, okay? So it's about how we're saying it and why, not the fact that we're saying some words. Nitsa?
You mean it.
Okay, so
not just reading it automatically, kind of, without.
So how are we supposed to do it? But rather beg for compassion and supplication before the Omnipresent, as it is said, for he is gracious and compassionate, slow to anger, abounding in kindness, and relentful of punishment. Okay? So say our prayers with meaning, with feeling, with spirit. And finally, do not judge yourself to be a wicked person. Why not? Shouldn't we? I thought part of the reason that we're here is to confess our sins and feel badly about them and apologize and promise not to do better. So if that's true, then shouldn't we consider ourselves in some way, at least to some extent, wicked?
I would say this means, okay, you didn't do it today, there is tomorrow. You didn't do it today, there is tomorrow. It's a new day, and do what you have to do and what you think is right today. Don't criticize yourself what you did wrong yesterday.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, I think the point here is that if we are too hard on ourselves and we feel that we're beyond forgiveness or beyond improvement or beyond recovery, then we're basically giving up on God and we're giving up on ourselves, and there's no place to go from there. So, yes, we're to be hard on ourselves, but not so hard that we conclude that we're evil and beyond redemption. Okay, Mitch?
To me, that's teshuvah. Always be willing to turn. Be willing to return. Because if you do tshuva, you begin to recognize that there's always the doors open. The door's always open. So, but if you take yourself too harshly, you're not capable of doing tshuva. But if you recognize that you're human, you can do tshuva.
Thank you. One more?
The scripture says, I am with the one that is humble and tremble to my word. You have to feel it. When you say in a prayer, you have to come from your heart, not from your mouth, not mechanically, but you have to do it feeling everything. You have to be humble when you talk with Elohim. You have to be humble and say it because you feel it, not because somebody repeated like a radio or like a tape recorder. You know what I mean?
Okay, thank you. Sure, do we have time for? Okay. Yeah, Ann?
I don't remember what rabbi it was or what story it was.
And I see that you're looking at me because you expect me to remember, right?
Right.
Good. Okay.
It was when sort of God goes into a village and he goes to these village people and one guy said, well, I do not know Hebrew. I do not know how to pray. I never learned how to pray. I don't know how to pray. So God says to him, well, what can you do? What can you do that is pleasing? He said, I can whistle. So God says to him, then whistle.
Hasidic story.
Or if you can dance, then you dance. It doesn't mean that you have to stand there or read it from the book or just read it, like we read prayers, but it has to be something that comes from within, whatever you know how to do to please and to celebrate.
Okay.
I think it's important to realize that every service has a silent meditation in it, and that is pointing out to us to find our own words.
Actually, the Amidah is that.
Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah, I want to say something. I want to point out two things. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mark. And maybe Rabbi, you want to stay here if you want us to argue a little bit.
Let's argue?
No.
Don't.
We always agree. But maybe two ideas that are important. The first one, as Risa was saying, there's always a time during the service for silent meditation, but also in the moments in which we actually have fixed words. A very interesting distinction that the rabbis are making is that actually prayer is not the written one. It's that the one that's coming from your heart. So it's not just about, when I ask you sometimes when we are davening, think about something that makes you feel deeply loved. Or think about a source of joy for you. What we are trying to do, we are trying to use the words of the Siddur to find our prayer. That's the game that we play. We use the words of the Siddur as a trigger to find out the Tfilah Shebalev, the prayer of our heart. That's number one. Number two, about this idea of don't judge yourself to be a wicked person. That's a very important consideration in that context. We start our prayers in Shacharit with Elohai Neshama Shenatata Bi Teorai. We say, dear God, the soul that you have given to me is pure. So there is no way that you are a wicked person. And we sometimes make bad choices. And that's the place for Teshuvah. We return not to God, but to the purity of our souls. And that's the important task, to recognize that we are essentially good. And that we sometimes make very bad, very poor choices. I don't know if you have any experience with that. I do. So the goal is to say, there's a place to come back to. And that place to come back to is not somewhere else, but right here. It's my soul.
Our souls are like the lights in lighthouses. Storms come and coat the glass with salt, and our job is to wash it off so the light can shine through again.
Here, Rabbi brought the theory of the sparks of the soul of the Zohar. We are going now to return the Torahs to the ark. Please rise. We are on page 374. Take it easy. Have time. Don't rush. Just take your time. turn us to you, God, and we will renew our opportunities to find you, to find our souls. We turn our Sidurim to page 586 for Aleinu Leshabeach.
עלינו לשבח לדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר ראשית, שלא שמנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל העולם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר לאדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. כוח. You may be seated. Go there? Okay. At this point of our service, we take a moment to acknowledge mourners among our community. If you are during the first 7 days of mourning, Shiva, please rise. If you are during the first 30 days of mourning, Shloishim, please rise. And remind us who you are remembering. If you are during the cycle of the first year of mourning, please rise. If you have a yahrzeit this week, an anniversary of death, please rise and remind us.
Nell Pesner, our mom, Leon Pesner, our uncle, Dennis Goldman, and Molly Goldman, my aunt and uncle. Big list today.
My brother-in-law,
Barbara?
Leon Bronstein,
Mother and father.
my father, Hyman Weinberg.
Now you can support our fellows while standing or sitting, joining us with your voices and the kavanot, the intentions of your hearts, on page 598 for Mourners Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שם רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותה, בהמליך מלכותה, בחייכון ובימיכון, ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שווה לקודשה, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דע מירם בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יש למה רבה מן שמיה, בחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל וכל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. May the memories of your dear ones be a living blessing in your life. זיכרונם לברכה. You may be seated. So, a couple of things. So, if you haven't RSVP'd for lunch and learn, you can just stay now. You just stay. Just stay and join us for some very, very important study. Rabbi David will be leading us in an exploration, discussion of Megillat Atzmaut, the document of establishment of the State of Israel. I can't compete with your voices, so I need you to cooperate with me right now. Thank you. Rabbi David will be
will be exploring and teaching the text of Megillat Atzmaut, the document of the establishment of the State of Israel, a very, very important document, testimony of, I think, the most important miracle that the Jewish people know in the last 2,000 years. So, an important text, there's no doubt. And right now, a very controversial text. Can you say that? I say that. Okay, so a controversial text, especially in the politics and the discussions that we see right now in the State of Israel. So it will be good for us to get more familiar with the text and the content of the text. And another important thing, on the 23rd, what happens on the 23rd? Nothing. The gala. So we are going to celebrate Miriam's trajectory and journey and professional life. Miriam is retiring. And we are already missing her. I can't tell you how complicated it is to order food without Miriam here. And how everything, there are things about Miriam that you don't know. She prepared the copies of the Torah reading for all of us before she left to a 2 weeks vacation. She called me on Tuesday and she asked me, "What are you doing with the food for lunch and learn?" I said, "Miriam, I have no idea." You want me to order? Please do. What do you want? I want a fast lunch, Miriam. Okay, so I ordered deli meat. So that's what we're going to have. And she ordered that. And she moved people to make sure that they pick them up. So Miriam is everywhere as the compassionate mother of this congregation. And we are happy that she's moving on. She's going to be doing stuff, but we are already missing her. I think that after 30 years of giving so much to this place, each of us needs to make sure that we are going to acknowledge and celebrate her in the best possible way. So if you are participating in the gala, fantastic. If you are unable to be there, so make sure that you see her and you thank her for whatever you feel that you need to thank her, or you write her a note, or somehow let her know how much you appreciate her. And as I say, and one more thing, because you already know that the gala is going to be led by one of her favorite singers, Sam Glazer. So it's going to be lots of fun. We tried to keep us as a secret, but it didn't work. So now we can say that while we are being in the screen, we're on Facebook, online, so she might be watching now, as we never know. Sam Glazer is going to be leading the event, so it's going to be super fun. And this afternoon, we have our Havaya B'Erev, our religious school is going to gather in the afternoon, and we will be preparing 2 very important mitzvot related to Purim. One is Mishloach Manot, the sending dishes, and the other one is Matanot Le'Evyonim, gifts for the unprivileged. So our children will be preparing all kind of cookies and nice things to send to our friends in Pathways of Hope in the shelter, and also for people in our community. So if you know about somebody that you like to receive a mishloach manot, a nice dish with some osnei aman, hamantashen, that I never know how to. Can you pronounce that for me? Hamantashen, like just let's agree that it's osnei aman. Just let's call them osnei aman. So if you know about somebody who is alone, and so let us know, and we will make sure that a little package arrives to that person or to that family. We are going to conclude our service on page 625 with Adon Olam. In C. That's it. That one, exactly that one.
my spirit in your hands. I trust my spirit. And I know that if you are with me, there is no reason to fear. Adonai os le'amo iten. Adonai yevarech et amo b'shalom. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Lai, 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 we have a little fun.